to the unmounted rubber stamp video tutorial. Most of the stamps that you buy from us will either come in sheet form, such as this, or they will come individually packed, such as this. Either way, I like to be able to cut mine out and make sure that I go as close to the edge as possible. So taking a sharp pair of scissors, we are just going to cut around the image. Make sure that you do go close, but that you do not cut into the image itself. Once you've cut out the image, you can then add it to your U-mount. The U-mount has two sides to it. You have a sticky side, and then you have a smooth side that will then adhere to the acrylic block without leaving any sticky residue. So I'm just going to add the unmounted stamp onto the U-mount. And then you can either cut around using a craft knife, or you can use your scissors. I tend to use a craft knife, and I make sure that I go right to the edge of the rubber, and then I'll use that as my guide. Once I finish cutting around the image, I can then remove the stamp and take off any of the outside excess. You can then peel off the protective backing, and this is then ready to pop on to your acrylic block, and you can see it will stay into place perfectly, and there is no mess or any sticky residue to clear up afterwards. Now, these are also fantastic for storage. There are a number of different ways that you can store your stamps. I tend to pop mine onto shiny surfaced card. In this case it's Miri card, and as you can see it stays on there, so it's easy to be able to punch holes and put into a ring binder, or just add to an accordion fold box. When it comes to mounting your singular stamps, I tend to cut all the excess rubber off again, because this will give me a much better indication of where the edge of the stamp is, so it makes it much easier for designing. So again, cut close to the image, but making sure that you do not cut into the rubber image itself. Just removing all the excess rubber before we pop this onto the U-mount. Now that we've taken off the excess rubber, bringing on our sheet of U-mount again, we can pop this on. Now at this point, I tend to bring in a number of the other stamps so I can make the most of the actual U-mount. So as you can see here, I've laid these down so I've utilised as much of the U-mount as possible, so I have very little wastage. And again, I'm just going to take my craft knife and go to the edge of the rubber and use that as my guide to then cut out all of the images that we have here. Once you've finished removing all of your rubber stamps, you can just keep that sheet, and then you can use the rest for your next set of stamps. And then you can add your stamps to whichever storage solution you prefer.